Welcome. My name is Brandon. Please join me on this tour of Northbridge Mall in Albert Lea, Minnesota. Northbridge Mall is the newer of the two Albert Lea malls, the original mall being Skyline Plaza, which you can learn about in my other video. Why is a mall with the word north so far into southern Minnesota? The mall is a mere 16 miles from the Iowa border. The mall is located on Bridge Avenue, but it's located to the east of Bridge Avenue. One theory was to match the new, at the time, Southbridge Mall, located 46 miles south in Mason City, Iowa. Southbridge opened in 1985, and Northbridge opened a mere 2 years later in 1987. The two malls could not be more different. Southbridge screams early 1980s with its brick walls and floors, while Northbridge is a product of the late 1980s with its carpeting, lights, and neon. Oh, this mall. Oh, I love Northbridge. And I'm not the only one. I started filming Minnesota malls to fill in the gaps, to get to those malls that hadn't been filmed. I've been fortunate enough to be the first to film several malls in the area. However, when I first visited Northbridge in April 2019, there was already a video of the mall. 2 years later, I'm now the fifth person to film Northbridge. Does Northbridge need another video? Why not? I've been able to film further progress of the transition of Herberger's to the Mercy One Clinic. Hey, check this out. Leuthold's moved to the other side of the Hallmark between 2001 and 2006. You may be wondering about this music. Why did I choose something that belongs in a barbecue joint? I really wanted to capture something you just can't get unless you visit the mall. Something that would get my video killed with copyright strikes. Despite this being a late 80s mall, the 3 times I've visited, the speakers blasted classic 70s country music on repeat. No synthesizers or saxophone solos here. We're talking When You're Hot by Jerry Reed, Po Folks by Bill Anderson, and Jolene by Dolly Parton. I have audio of Jolene in my clips from both April 2019 and January 2021, but I just can't use them. It was also a coincidence that in 2019, Northbridge started my Dead Mall road trip that ended in Moline, Illinois. Moline, 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 Moline. Don't tear down your food court just because you can. Sorry about that. South Park Mall in Moline built a new addition and then tore it down later in an attempt to increase foot traffic. It didn't work. While this was Hallmark's first location in Northbridge, it is actually the second location in Albert Lea. Hallmark started out in the older indoor shopping center when it was called Skyline Mall. I stated in another video that I didn't film much in 2019 as it was a dead mall trip on a way to see a relative, and I thought, someone else will film these cool malls. Ah, dang, I should have named my YouTube channel Someone Else. Alright, onto the history. Being a late 80s mall, Northbridge opened with one of those newfangled food courts. Even better, opening into the food court was a 7-screen movie theater, which is still open today. Dinner and a movie in one place. How convenient. Northbridge also started with 3 anchors. Shopko on the north, Only Deals on the east, and Herberger's on the south. Dunham Sports eventually replaced Only Deals, and the other 2 anchors have sat abandoned since their parent company bankruptcies. I was fortunate enough to walk through Shopko one final time in April 2019 when it was going out of business, but I didn't collect any footage. However, Nathan Bush photographed this mall's Shopko. I will share a link to his Flickr gallery in the description below. Herberger's has sat abandoned for many years. In 2020, mall management made plans for Mercy One Clinic to open in its former space. COVID slowed down the opening, and they were still under construction during my visit in January 2021. I really hope the clinic saves this mall. Now that people have a new reason to visit the location, maybe vendors will return to the food court. There was nearly nothing to eat at the mall when I visited on a Monday afternoon. The only place in the food court was movie theater food and a catering location, which was closing for the day during my visit. I saw two young women hanging out in the food court eating popcorn. The Mexican restaurant was closed on Mondays, leaving only the Pizza Ranch at the other side of the mall as the remaining location for food. The mall has seen better days. There are a lot of empty storefronts. Other former tenants include Maurice's, Book World, G&C, Christopher and Banks, Swisher's, and several mom and pop shops that have come and gone. A local couple purchased the Great Clips from its Twin Cities-based owner and made it their own salon called The Image. It is now closed. Bliss Bridal and Former Wear that you saw earlier moved to Mason City, not to the Southbridge Mall, but into their own building. I also noticed another connection with Mason City, with Mason City Clinic in this mall. The future Mercy One Clinic also has an Iowa connection. Growing up in Minnesota, Albert Lea has been on my mental radar nearly my entire life. Several freeway signs in the Twin Cities tell you to take Interstate 35 north for Duluth or 35 south for Albert Lea. So to me it seemed backwards that Albert Lea would have hosted Mason City satellites. However, Albert Lea has a population of 18,000 residents, while Mason City, which again I didn't know much about until my Dead Mall trips, has a population of 28,000 residents. Here we are coming up on the food court. Neon lights used to announce its presence, but now they remain unlit. I guess management doesn't want to advertise food when there isn't anything outside of the movie theater selection of popcorn and candy. One more Northbridge and Southbridge comparison. They are both former retail malls that have become mixed use. Northbridge is replacing an anchor with a medical center, while Southbridge replaced an anchor with an ice arena. Which do you find cooler? Sorry, no pun intended. The Herberger's photo from earlier and the Shopko photos are my own. Something told me I should take at least some sort of souvenir for my 2019 visits. I also have a very boring collection of Yonkers entrances. I imagine I'll find use for them someday. Just who is this hole for? Security? Dead Mall fans? I thought about editing this down a bit, but Garfield's gaze told me I'd be in big trouble. This is the last of the malls that I filmed on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I bring this up as we are well past the season for season's greetings, but the banner still hung from the ceilings. You may wonder why I filmed several malls on a Monday when many shops are usually closed. This goes back to the Faribault Town Square in Faribault, Minnesota. Being an office complex now, it is only open on weekdays. Another good reason to film during the week is the lack of craft and vendor markets. On many Fridays and Saturdays, small businesses pull out folding tables and sell their wares in the hallways of small town malls. 3 malls that I visited in October of 2019 had these craft fairs. Is this Mexican place any good? It has been here for several years. but it has always been closed when I visited. I hope I can try it someday. Thank you for joining me on this tour of Northbridge Mall. I'm going to leave you with footage of the mall's exterior. I know that the exteriors of malls aren't always the most exciting, but I've discovered that there are a few malls that don't have all of their exteriors recorded on Google Maps. Maybe some future mall fan from, say, the year 2041 will find these exterior shots beneficial. I hope you have a great day, and take care.